She was brutally mocked. In the most extravagant financial gala in all of Europe, her non-branded satin dress, flat shoes, and low-tied hair became the joke of every velvet staircase. "Looks like a staff member wandered into the VIP lounge," one noblewoman whispered. "Who is she to sit next to the shareholder board?" Every gaze skimmed past her, as if her existence was a decorative mistake. And then, the organizer's phone rang. Minutes later, the Marlowe family lawyer appeared, and suddenly, she was the sole heir to a billion-dollar empire. Marlowe Hall stood as a monument to wealth, its limestone facade glowing under the starlit skies of the English countryside. The mansion, with its sprawling gardens and baccarat chandeliers, was the beating heart of Europe's financial elite, hosting the 70th birthday gala of Genevieve Marlowe, chairwoman of Marlowe & Company, the continent's oldest private bank. The air shimmered with Dior gowns, Patek Philippe watches, and the clink of crystal flutes. Invitations, embossed with gold leaf, bore names that ruled empires: Rothschild, Agnelli, von Habsburg. No press breached the iron gates. No unvetted guest crossed the marble threshold. This was a world curated by bloodlines, where pedigree was currency and anonymity was a sin. Beyond the velvet ropes, a retired professor in Hong Kong watched a private live stream, his frail hands clutching a faded photo, his eyes locked on a young woman's solitary grace. Ava Sinclair entered the grand hall, her satin dress, a soft ivory, non-branded, flowing simply, catching the chandelier light. Her flat shoes whispered on the polished floor, her black hair tied low, no jewelry adorning her wrists or neck. At 26, her beauty was understated, her almond eyes and gentle features radiant in their quiet clarity, like a still lake under dawn. Raised in a modest Hong Kong flat, Ava had lost her mother young and grown up with her father, a disowned heir who taught literature and shunned wealth. She'd studied finance at a local university, worked as a translator for a small NGO, and lived frugally, her heart shaped by service, not status. Tonight, she arrived as the +1 of Hans Berger, chairman of Switzerland's largest investment fund, her presence unexplained, her simplicity a scandal in a sea of couture and diamonds. The guests' stares sliced through Ava as she crossed the hall, their whispers sharp as glass. Beatrice Langley, a British aristocrat in a $60,000 Dior gown, leaned toward her companion, her voice carrying to the live stream. "Are they letting staff attend galas now?" she sneered, her diamond tiara glinting. Laughter rippled through the crowd, phones discreetly filming Ava's plain dress. Marcus Vellier, a French hedge fund titan with a $15,000 Patek watch, smirked from his table. "Look at her wrist, not even a Cartier," he said, sparking chuckles from his entourage. Ava's fingers brushed her sash, her face serene, but the air crackled with disdain. Her father's face on the live stream tightened, the insults a wound to his pride, and the audience seethed, their anger a spark ready to ignite. The mockery grew bolder, a coordinated assault on Ava's presence. A clique of heiresses in $40,000 gowns formed a semicircle, their voices a venomous chorus. "She probably wandered in by mistake," one hissed, tossing a silk napkin toward Ava's feet. "Or worse, his temporary +1. Another waved a jeweled phone, shouting, "She's a thrift store guest. Bet she's never seen a gala." Phones glowed, their private chats vicious. Hat Marlowe misfit, zooming in on her flat shoes. A German banker bellowed, "She's dragging this event into the gutter." The crowd's laughter was a public execution, each word a lash against Ava's silence. Her father's face on the live stream was etched with pain, each taunt a blow to his daughter's dignity. The audience's rage surged, their hearts pounding, furious at this mob's relentless cruelty. The elite's scorn turned vicious as Ava moved through the hall, their mockery a calculated gauntlet. A group of banking heiresses in $45,000 couture gowns formed a barrier, their voices a venomous chorus. "She's a blight on Marlowe's prestige," one sneered, flicking a champagne flute's rim to spill droplets near Ava's feet. "Back to the slums, darling." Another waved a jeweled phone, shouting, "Her dress looks like a tablecloth. Bet she's never seen a real gala." Phones flashed, their private chats erupting with hashtags. Hat Marlowe mistake, zooming in on her flat shoes. A Russian tycoon roared, "She's an insult to every legacy here." The crowd's laughter was a guillotine, each taunt a blade against Ava's poised silence. Her father's face on the live stream was a mask of anguish, each barb a wound to his daughter's dignity. The audience's rage surged, their hearts pounding, furious at this orchestrated humiliation, their anger a fire ready to consume the elite's arrogance. Genevieve Marlowe herself, the evening's host, descended from the grand staircase, her $100,000 emerald necklace gleaming. She paused near Ava's table, her silver hair regal, her voice dripping with condescension. "I'm not sure who you are, dear," she said, loud enough for the live stream to catch. "But this table is reserved for people with the name." Her entourage laughed, their diamonds flashing, phones capturing Ava's calm face. "Perhaps you'd be more comfortable with the staff," Genevieve added, gesturing toward a side door. The guests cheered, their scorn a tidal wave, their private chats buzzing. "Hashtag no-name guest." Ava's almond eyes met Genevieve's, steady but with a pulse at her throat. Her father's hands trembled on the live stream, the host's cruelty a knife to his daughter's worth. The audience's fury boiled, their hearts breaking for Ava, enraged at this public shaming. Genevieve Marlowe's disdain sharpened, her words a deliberate strike to wound Ava before the global elite. "You're not just out of place, you're an embarrassment," she declared, her $100,000 emerald necklace glinting as she gestured at Ava's satin dress. "Hans Berger must have lost his mind to bring a nobody like you." Her entourage erupted in laughter, their diamonds flashing, phones zooming in on Ava's low-tied hair. "You're a charity case, not a guest," Genevieve sneered, her voice amplified by the live stream's hidden mics. "This hall is for names, not strays." The guests cheered, their scorn a tidal wave, their private chats buzzing. "Had Marlowe shame." Ava's almond eyes burned with quiet fire, but her smile held, a shield against the betrayal. Her father's hands shook on the live stream, the public shaming a dagger to his daughter's heart. The audience's fury roared, their hearts breaking for Ava, enraged at this matriarch's treachery broadcast to the world. The elite's disdain turned vicious, their voices a venomous symphony. Sylvia Reinhardt, a Dutch media heiress in a $50,000 couture dress, leaned forward, her voice cutting through the hall. "She's a nobody, probably paid to be here," she sneered, her words amplified by the live stream's hidden mics. Her companions nodded, one adding, "Her father must be a nobody too. No wonder he's not here." Phones flashed, private chats exploding. Had Gala fraud zooming in on Ava's low-tied hair. A British lord's daughter shouted, "She's an insult to Marlowe's legacy." The laughter roared, each jab a dagger aimed at Ava's heart. Her father's face on the live stream was a portrait of torment, each lie a wound to his daughter's honor. The audience's anger erupted, their fury a tidal wave against this orchestrated cruelty, desperate for justice to shatter the elite's arrogance. The gala's staff, trained to be invisible, joined the mockery with subtle jabs. A waiter, passing champagne, paused near Ava, his voice low but audible. "Miss, the service entrance is that way," he said, gesturing toward a side door, his smirk mirrored by nearby guests. "We don't usually seat such guests at the main tables," he added, sparking laughter from the elite. Phones captured Ava's serene face, their private chats buzzing. Hashtag staff mistake. The crowd's approval was a suffocating tide, their arrogance a public crucifixion. Ava adjusted her sash, her almond eyes unwavering, but her father's live stream feed showed his face crumpling, the staff's complicity a fresh betrayal. The audience's rage flared, their hearts pounding at this institutional cruelty, their fury ablaze ready to consume the hall's sanctity. The gala's staff, trained to uphold Marlowe Hall's prestige, joined the elite's scorn with cutting jabs. A maitre d', impeccably dressed, paused near Ava's table, his voice laced with mockery. "Miss, this section is for invited guests only," he said, loud enough for the live stream to catch. "Your attire suggests you're in the wrong wing." He gestured at her non-branded dress, his smirk mirrored by nearby guests. "We don't typically allow such simplicity at Marlowe events," he added, sparking laughter from the elite. Phones captured Ava's serene face, their private chats buzzing. Hashtag Gala error. The crowd's approval was a suffocating tide, their arrogance a public shaming. Ava adjusted her sash, her almond eyes unwavering, but her father's live stream feed showed his face crumpling, the staff's complicity a fresh wound. The audience's rage flared, their hearts pounding at this institutional betrayal, their fury ablaze against the hall's sanctity. The whispers crescendoed, the guests scorn a global spectacle via the private live stream. A Monaco princess's cousin posted #NoNameIntruder, zooming in on Ava's plain dress. "She's a fake," another guest texted, shared by a banking heir. A French diplomat's son shouted, "Bet she forged her invitation," sparking a wave of laughter that echoed through the hall. The live stream's hidden comments flooded. "Eject her! Imposter!" A woman in a $30,000 Valentino gown called out, "She's humiliating Marlowe Hall! Someone stop this!" Ava's hands stayed steady, her almond eyes fixed on the horizon, but her father's face on the live stream was a study in agony, each digital jab a blow to his daughter's pride. The audience's anger roared, their hearts with Ava, desperate for this global shaming to end. The guests' cruelty peaked as they spun vicious rumors, their voices a venomous storm amplified by the live stream. A Spanish duke's daughter leaned forward, her $60,000 tiara glinting, and whispered loudly, "She's a con artist, probably blackmailed Berger to get in." Her companions nodded, their diamonds flashing, one adding, "Her father's probably not even real, just a story to scam her way here." Phones glowed, private chats exploding with lies. Had fraud guessed, zooming in on Ava's low-tied hair. A London financier shouted, "She's a fake! Marlowe's been duped!" The laughter roared, each rumor a dagger aimed at Ava's heart. Her father's face on the live stream was a portrait of torment, each lie a wound to his daughter's honor. The audience's anger erupted, their hearts with Ava, their fury a tidal wave against this malicious slander, desperate for the truth to shatter the elite's lies. The air shifted when Genevieve's secretary, a sharp-eyed woman in a tailored suit, turned pale mid-call. Her phone buzzed incessantly, her voice trembling as she whispered to an aide. The guests noticed, their whispers faltering, phones lowering. The secretary hurried to Genevieve, her words urgent but hushed. "It's the Marlowe family's legal firm. The new heir is arriving. Now." The hall fell silent, the clink of crystal flutes replaced by a tense hum. Ava sat calmly, her satin dress untouched by the chaos, her almond eyes serene. Her father's face on the live stream softened, a flicker of hope in his eyes. The audience's hearts raced, their anger mingling with anticipation, sensing a storm about to break. 10 minutes later, the grand doors swung open. A man in a gray suit entered, Edward Grayson, the personal lawyer of the late Alfred Marlowe, Genevieve's grandfather. In his hands, a sealed envelope and a single sheet of paper. The crowd parted, their diamonds dull, their faces taut. Grayson's voice was steady, cutting through the silence. "By order of Alfred Marlowe's final will, the board of Marlowe & Company must assemble immediately." He paused, his gaze locking on Ava. "The sole heir to the Marlowe banking empire is present tonight." The guests gasped, phones trembling, the live stream erupting. "Who is it? Not Genevieve?" Ava's fingers brushed her sash, her face unchanged, but her father's eyes on the live stream glistened with pride. The audience's anticipation surged, their anger shifting to awe, the truth a spark in the frost. Grayson stepped forward, unsealing the envelope with deliberate care. Alfred Marlowe's estranged son, Henry, was disowned for marrying an Asian woman against the family's wishes, he said, his voice clear. Henry and his wife raised a daughter in anonymity, far from this world. That daughter is Ava Sinclair. He held up the sheet, a DNA test result, irrefutable proof of Ava's lineage. By Alfred's will, Ava is the sole heir to Marlowe & Co., with full control of its assets and board. The hall froze, Genevieve's emerald necklace suddenly heavy, her face ashen. The guests who'd mocked Ava shifted uncomfortably, their phones forgotten. Ava's almond eyes met Grayson's, her silence a quiet fire. Her father's tears fell on the live stream, his exile vindicated. The audience's hearts soared, their rage transforming into triumph, Ava's truth a blaze that humbled the elite. The board members seated at the central table rose in unison, their faces pale. Genevieve's voice cracked as she stammered, This is a mistake." But Grayson's gaze was unyielding. "The will is final. You and all other Marlowe branches are removed from ownership and the board, effective immediately. The crowd gasped, their wealth meaningless, their status erased. Beatrice Langley's tiara slipped. Marcus Vellier's watch stopped ticking. Sylvia Reinhardt's couture dress seemed to wilt. The live stream trended globally, at Ava Sinclair flooding social media. Her silent grace a legend in the making. The elite's reckoning was a spectacle, their arrogance reduced to ashes under Hans's command. Genevieve's face drained of color, her emerald necklace a relic, her name trending as a cautionary tale. Beatrice Langley's social empire collapsed, her mockery a viral disgrace. Marcus Vellier's hedge fund plummeted, his scorn a public wound. Sylvia Reinhardt's media stocks crashed, her hashtags a social scar. The Spanish Duke's daughter hid her face, her tiara no shield against the live stream's captions. She mocked Ava Sinclair. The staff who'd sneered were escorted out, their careers ended. The guests who'd laughed were shunned, their influence null. Ava stood tall, her low-tied hair a quiet crown, her almond eyes unyielding. The live stream captured the elite's fall, comments flooding. They deserved it. Ava triumphs. The audience's hearts thundered, their anger transformed into pride. Ava's victory and Hans's wrath, a blaze that humbled the world's richest. Ava stood, her satin dress glowing, her almond eyes soft but resolute. The audience cheered, their hearts thundering as the elite's arrogance crumbled under her quiet power. Hans Berger, the Swiss investment fund chairman, rose from his seat, his presence a thunderclap that silenced the hall. You dared to mock Ava Sinclair, the true heir of Marlowe and Company, he said, his steel-gray eyes blazing. Your wealth, your titles, mean nothing against her legacy. He pulled out his phone, displaying a cascade of terminated deals, banking contracts with Beatrice Langley, investment partnerships with Marcus Vellier, trade agreements with Sylvia Reinhardt, all severed. Your names are erased from my fund's network, he declared, his gaze locking on Genevieve. You've lost more than a seat. You've lost your future. The crowd's gasps were a symphony of shock, their empires crumbling under his command. The live stream trended worldwide, comments flooding. He's unstoppable. Ava justice. Ava stood serene, her satin dress a crown, her triumph sealed by Hans's unrelenting power. The audience roared, their hearts soaring as his global retribution crushed the elite's arrogance. The guests who'd sneered now rose to their feet, their heads bowed, their empires trembling. The heiresses who'd tossed napkins froze, their private chats silent. The waiter who'd mocked Ava retreated, his tray shaking. The Monaco princess's cousin deleted her post, her influence null. Genevieve's hands trembled, her necklace a relic of a fallen reign. Ava stepped forward, her voice soft, unchanged from when she'd arrived. I don't need diamonds to know who I am, she said, her words cutting the air like a blade. But thank you, because your condescending stares helped me understand exactly why my grandfather didn't leave this empire to you. The hall was silent, no one daring to move, their scorn a fading echo. The audience's pride swelled, Ava's composure a fire that burned the elite's cruelty to ash. The fallout was immediate, a reckoning delivered in silence. Genevieve's board seat was void, her name erased from Marlowe and Company's legacy. Beatrice Langley's social standing collapsed, her mockery a viral scar. Marcus Vellier's hedge fund faced audits, his scorn a public wound. Sylvia Reinhardt's media empire faltered, her hashtags a disgrace. The staff who'd sneered were dismissed, their careers over. The guests who'd laughed scattered, their invitations worthless, their influence dust. Ava walked toward the grand doors, her flat shoes steady, her satin dress a quiet crown. Her father's face on the live stream glowed with pride, his daughter's triumph a testament to their shared strength. The audience's hearts pounded, their anger transformed into awe, Ava's victory a monument to her grace. The hall's elite scrambled, their phones buzzing with desperate calls to their assistants. "Book a meeting with Miss Sinclair," one shouted, his voice cracking. "She controls Marlowe now," another whispered, her Dior gown no shield against the truth. The board members hovered, their titles meaningless, their futures in Ava's hands. The live stream captured the chaos, comments flooding. "She's unstoppable." Hashtag Ava rules. Ava paused at the threshold, her almond eyes scanning the hall one last time. No security flanked her, no entourage followed. She stepped into the night, leaving a trail of the world's richest pleading for her attention, their bows a silent surrender to the woman they'd mocked. She had no noble bloodline, no diamonds on her wrist, no name they recognized, but she had one thing no one else at Marlowe Hall did: a legacy that made the world's elite kneel before her. Like, share, and subscribe for more stories like this. And tell us in the comments, would you have kept your silence like Ava did?